What's up, y'all? We're back at the movies. I feel like I haven't been here in so long. You were here 6 days ago. So today's movie is, I don't know. It is another AMC Screen Unseen. This time around, though, it is a rated R film that's 2 hours long. Trying to think what rated R movies that are 2 hours in length that are coming out in the next couple of weeks. It's either American Fiction or Poor Things. If it's American Fiction, I'm gonna jump out of my skin. If it's Poor Things, I'm gonna be so happy because I wanna see it, but I don't know when I'll get to see it. We got our blankie. Let's go. All right, let's talk about it. So that was American Fiction, directed by Core Jefferson. His directorial debut stars Jeffrey Wright, Tracy Ellis Ross, Sterling K. Brown, Erica Alexander, John Ortiz. Keith David is in this for a hot minute. I love him so much. He's so cool. Keith David is so cool. Thelonious Ellison, played by Jeffrey Wright, is an author who is wanting to get his next book published, but he and his manager seem to be struggling to get anyone to put it out there. The market wants more black books, never mind the fact that he's black and it's a book. But this is a nice little satire about how our society reduces people to stereotypes. This pokes fun at a lot of things. We're talking about, progressive white acceptance of black stereotypes as being the authentic black story. We're poking fun at diversity hires, and that was funny. The opening scene is delicious. It's literally a blue-haired white college female getting offended on someone else's behalf. It's a comedic social commentary. It's satirical in nature. We're having a serious conversation about something serious by being unserious, because it seems that's the only way we can really honestly talk about stuff like this. This is the kind of movie you watch in the middle of the afternoon just so you can go out to dinner later and talk about it. At the center of this story is a man who is struggling to let people in, to connect with other people, to allow people to love him. I think anyone who is struggling with depression will find this man's demeanor, his behavior, very relatable. It's such an interesting portrayal of depression. This is not something you see very often. The anger that comes with being depressed. I expect this to be nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay. Do I think it'll win in any of those categories? Not really, no, but it more than deserves the recognition. Absolutely. This was so good. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm over the moon happy. So happy. I've never done this before, but let's go. So that was my review of American Fiction. I saw it last night. It was AMC Screen Unseen mystery movie. So I was crossing my fingers it was American Fiction. I was so excited it was American Fiction, and I meant what I said. That was my fresh reaction to the movie. I gave it minutes after seeing it, and I stand by what I said. But now that I've slept, woken up, and I've thought about it some more, I'm not changing what I said. I stand by what I said. That was my fresh reaction. I don't think the movie is as good as I initially thought. I think the reason I found this movie so enjoyable initially was because it was so relatable. Again, this is a movie about satire. It's an author who decides to write a bogus novel in order to prove a point. He is an intellectual, he's a college professor, he has a PhD, he enjoys writing, writes fiction, and yet his books are not what publishers are looking for. They want black voices. So you have this other writer in the book who wrote this book, and it's, every negative black stereotype you can think of. So, out of frustration, in the midst of life struggles, his sister out of nowhere dies. His mother has Alzheimer's and needs to go into a home. He has all these expenses. He's frustrated, so he writes a bogus novel, gives it to his agent. His agent shops it around in his behalf because he wants to prove a point. Turns out all these publishers love it. They're offering him crazy money for it. This dude wants to turn it into a movie, and it's kind of spun out of control. The parts that I found relatable, personal for me, were, being reduced down to a stereotype, being expected as a black person to act, behave, perform a certain way. People not liking me because who I am doesn't match the expectations they have with respect to my skin color. Does that make sense? When I take a step back and take the personal away and just look at the movie as it is, it's kind of dull. The best parts of the movie are in the trailer. The trailer doesn't really accurately portray what this movie is. The trailer portrays a subplot. This, thing about him writing a bogus novel and, being Stag R. Lee, this, pseudonym he made up on the fly. It's a subplot. It's really not the main focus point of this movie. It kind of serves to give us an idea as to who this man is. But honestly, it's the best parts of the whole movie because everything else is very dull. I wrote in a little mini review on an app I'm on called Criticless how this movie is like watching a heart rate monitor flatline and then find its rhythm. Except this movie does it over and over and over again. This movie, it flatlines and then finds its rhythm. It flatlines and then finds its rhythm. The satire of it all, though, that's the point, and I think that's the part that people are going to find the most entertaining, and that's what's going to stick with people. The parts about his family are honestly very forgettable. But what makes this movie seem better than it actually is the acting. The acting's on point. The casting is on point. Jeffrey Wright does an incredible job. Sterling K. Brown is amazing in his supporting role. So why did I want to see this movie? How did this particular movie, American Fiction, end up on my radar? Just like last year, I am trying to see as many Best Picture nominees before the Oscars as possible. And this movie is on every Best Picture shortlist I can find. I imagine this movie is going to get nominated for Best Picture, but only because there are 10 slots to fill. Guaranteed Best Picture nominees, as far as I'm concerned, based on the movies I have seen thus far: Oppenheimer, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Holdovers. I'm hoping Poor Things is as good as everyone says it is, but this is the problem with a lot of festival movies, is there's a lot of hype and a lot of fanfare surrounding these movies when they come out of the festivals, but then once they hit the market, that's when the real reviews come out. Rustin with Coleman Domingo, Jeffrey Wright is also in that movie. That, to me, is a better fit for a Best Picture nomination than this movie. Rustin was excellent, just excellent. Unless they campaign hard for it, Ben Affleck's Air from earlier this year isn't going to get any award recognition, which is sad. But I would also put that movie before this one. It's entertaining. I think you'll enjoy it, but I mean, it's just okay. I'd give it like a 6.5 out of 10.